Hello and welcome to On Fire here on Daily Mirror. I'm Easwaran Rutnam. Our guest today is the president of the Colombo City Restaurant Collective, Harpo Gooneratne, as we look at the situation facing the restaurant industry with the current lockdown and the COVID situation. Hi, Harpo, welcome to the program.
Hi, good morning, sir.
Morning. So Harpo, as at the time that we're doing this interview, we still don't know what sort of guidelines will be introduced to the restaurants, assuming they're allowed to resume full operations come October 1st. But how are things right now with the restaurants? I mean, how are they been managing? The last time I know we spoke, we were hoping for an improvement, but things got bad once again. How is the situation now?
So, right, yeah. So to answer your question, yeah, we've got approximately 24 hours. They say they're making their decision tomorrow. Fingers crossed that they will make a decision in favor of the hospitality industry and the larger picture as well. You know, saying that the last 1 month has been 1.5 months, I would say, has been pretty dicey. But the simple fact is, you know, I don't know whether they call it the fourth wave or yet it's on the third wave, but I would call it the fourth wave because the simple fact is we went back to square one, you know, where we were not able to operate. We were confined to only doing delivery. So the restaurant association, all the members had to take a back seat once again. Don't forget this one, this has been 18 months, you know, and 7 months of the 18 months, we have been closed down, you know, period. You know, the balance we have been allowed to operate with 25%, 50%. So it has been a tough 18 months for the hospitality industry and the restaurant industry as well, you know. And don't forget, you know, we are also coming from a 2019 Easter Sunday attack. Then we had the, you know, the 2019, then there was a 50-day coup. We had to step back on that as well. The restaurant and the hospitality industry had to take a back step. And then you had this whole COVID thing spanning out in March 20. So it has been a tough ride. And we're looking forward to a positive decision which is going to be made tomorrow. And let's get on with our lives and let's learn to live with this now. You know? That's important.
Yeah, I mean, the point you make on trying to live with this, is this something that we could have done earlier itself, lived with the pandemic as opposed to putting in, you know, all these tough restrictions which have affected so many businesses?
You see, what we have to understand, one thing is that this was something new to the whole world. You know, so everybody hadn't obviously dabbled with the situation of this nature, you know, the entire world. So it was like learning on the move. Trying to put it that way. You know, every day the goalposts changed, every day there was new things coming out. So you know, everybody, it was a learning process. And I think yet it is a learning process, you know, because every day you hear some new variant coming out or something else has happened, a new vaccine is going to come out. Now they're talking about the COVID, where you can take a tablet, you know, and then you don't need to take the injection. So things are evolving, you know, it's yet new to the world, it's yet new to everybody. So we as a country, I think, handled it pretty well for the first month, from March to about May, June last year. You know, the numbers were very small, but then, you know, you had different times the country opened up. The herd started coming into Colombo or spread right around the country. I don't agree with people saying foreigners coming in giving us COVID. I don't really agree with that kind of thing because you and I can be traveling abroad and coming back, and we can be carriers of this thing as well. You know? So we shouldn't just say, you know, foreigners bring this to Colombo or bring to the country. You know, anybody traveling in Sri Lanka, you, me, or anybody can be a carrier of this disease, you know, of this thing. So I think. You know, I think last April was the icing on the cake when the entire country was going to celebrate Civil New Year. Don't forget, last year, November, December, January, during the Christmas season or the festive season, we were not allowed to celebrate. You know, And it was controlled to a big effect. We were not allowed to go to church on Sunday, on Christmas Day. 31st night celebrations were curtailed. So it was managed pretty well, but I think it got out of hand, and when the Delta variant came in, the whole thing just took a different twist altogether. And obviously, people didn't respect the laws of the country. People just did what they wanted to do. There was no restrictions on funerals, on parties, or what shall we say, on demonstrations, and the list goes on. So there's no point blaming people now. It's a matter of we have learned our mistakes. We have learned to live with it, as I said from the outset. So it's important that we grasp all what we have taken in and try to understand and move on.
How is the industry, Harpo, preparing to make further adjustments and, we talk about the new normal, but if further restrictions are imposed, is the industry prepared to, make further cuts and make further changes and, continue operations?
You see, it's I don't know when you say cuts, whether it's financial cuts or whether it's other cuts. We have taken all cuts. We have taken all cuts and corners, and you name it, we have done it. Financial cuts. The entire restaurant industry has seen a big problem with it. We have not got any handouts from the government. Moratoriums, yes, there was certain moratorium given to certain restaurants. Certain people didn't take it, but at the end of the day, moratorium, you're going to pay those things back. From a staff point of view,
and this is interesting. Sorry, this is something that you mentioned when we spoke the last time as well. The fact that you all need assistance from the government, and that assistance hadn't been given back then. So you're saying even now that is the position.
Yeah. Yes, there is that. It stands, as I spoke to you probably 2-3 months ago. The goalpost hasn't changed. Yet the same. So that is the cuts we have taken. Salary cuts for all the staff. The staff are obviously going through a tough time. And don't forget, the staff are the people who build our brands, and we cannot forget them during these times, So it has been a tough journey. But to answer your other question, yes. So we will obviously need to. We have learned the process now since COVID-1. Temperature checks, QR codes being scanned. Sanitizing yourself when you come in, social distancing. So we have done this for the last 18 months. So now what we have obviously seen now is the people have got vaccinated. I think probably 50 or 60% have got vaccinated. I think by the end of October, 80% would be vaccinated. That's between the age of 20 and 30, which is a great thing, because don't forget, the hospitality industry, a lot of the staff are between the 20 and 30 age, most of them are trainees, most of them are stewards, and above the 30s as well, So they have got their second vaccine now, and the first 20 and 30 haven't got their second vaccine, but I'm sure it will roll out within the next two weeks, So by that happening, you see the staff, for example, if you are walking into any of the restaurants in Colombo or hotel for that matter, there'll be a certain kind of, like you'll be okay. Shall I say, you'll be kind of confident for the simple fact that everybody around you has been vaccinated. Now, saying that, you can be vaccinated and also get COVID as well, So, but the confidence level of our customers who are coming into restaurants and hotels and wherever will be obviously, happy to know that everyone's vaccinated, And we as a restaurant association is pushing for the simple fact as well that we request everybody to bring their cards, their vaccination cards with them, or probably take a photograph of the card and have it on their phone. So when they are checked at the entrance, we know that they both have got both vaccinations have been given, And we will also be wearing a badge, I am vaccinated kind of badge, which we all wear now, So the customer who comes in knows that the staff are vaccinated.
So customers, you all are looking at proposing that customers be allowed to come in only if they are fully vaccinated, is it?
You see, that is a call which individuals have to take on each property. But as an association, we are discussing the possibility of all of us implementing that. You see, it's twofold. If you implement that, you're also driving people to go and get your vaccination, because you cannot be allowed into a restaurant. So that plays both ways. So also the simple fact is that people who are coming in, we are in a safe environment now that everybody has been vaccinated. So I think the bigger picture on the vaccination and allowing people to come into properties, hotels, bars, cafes, restaurants, shopping malls, cinemas, gyms, officers for that matter. You see, the world is looking at it very differently as well. They are asking you to be vaccinated. And I think in time to come, there might be a legislation being passed that you need to carry your vaccination card, or else you're going to be left out. Look at France, in the US, that's happening, you see. So we in a small way should be promoting that, and if you don't want to be vaccinated, then don't come, stay at home. It's very simple. It's like if you had the flu, don't go out, stay at home. If you're not vaccinated, then stay at home and order food, work from home for that matter. Officers are going to be also, I'm sure, pushing for the simple fact, because the more people vaccinated, it's going to be better.
You operate a restaurant as well. I mean, a lot of restaurants had to make adjustments and switch to delivery as opposed to being used to the usual in-house dining. Was that successful? I mean, delivery services, was that something that was helpful?
So to say that for the last 18 months, obviously, there were a lot of new delivery platforms which came up as well. There was, we had 2 or 3 platforms who were dominating the delivery market in Colombo and the suburbs. But a lot of people started doing delivery because there were more delivery options and platforms. As I said, you see, delivery, yes, obviously there's revenue coming in, but it's nothing like going and dining out. That experience will always be there. People obviously want to go out and dine. But what has happened is there are a lot of people who actually set up little mom and pop shops, from home, because they were without work. Some of them were laid out of their businesses. Some of them were asked to leave their jobs. So what has happened right now is a lot of people started their business, and we were able, and they were able to fend for themselves. The restaurants also had to adjust their menus accordingly, because everything on a menu cannot be delivered. So they obviously rehashed their menus, and delivery has taken off. People have got used to delivery. Maybe it's from groceries to anything. If you see now, the online platforms actually expanded, if I have to put it that way. A lot of the online platforms started, a lot of grocery shops have started selling vegetables and various things online, which is also a good thing, you see. So there is the positive of this, you know what I mean. So there are positives which came out of COVID as well, where a lot of people set up their own businesses, a lot of online platforms came up. A lot of people got used to going to online platform, because otherwise they had to go to the supermarket or go to a restaurant. So lifestyles changed over the last 18 months, So yes, so those have improved, and that has given us revenue. But it's not that you can depend on that fully. There's no way. Bare minimum where you can pay some staff and pay some suppliers, because we are dealing with not only staff, we're dealing with suppliers who supply the hospitality industry, who are also going through a hard time. We mustn't forget them. They have been supporting us the last 18 months. And don't forget, like I said, from 2019 April, they have taken a hit as well. The tourism industry took a hit as well. Before that, we were looking at 2.5 million tourists coming in. So where are you going to find that now? It's going to take time. 2024, they say. But let's all be positive. That's the key.
Do you think that the public would have confidence in? I mean, you spoke about the importance of getting vaccinated, and then showing the vaccination card to enter a restaurant, most likely if that is implemented. But do you feel that the public would have confidence to return to restaurants, considering all these variants and the fear factor that's there as well?
You see, a good question, because there will be a perception with the customers. This is what I'm hearing, A lot of people would like to sit in open areas. If you look at internationally also, people are dining out. People want to sit in the open spaces for that matter. People don't want to be in air-conditioned venues anymore. The trend is moving that way. So the customer will look at that. Yes, customers are going to be, obviously some of them, as I said, call and ask us now, are you allowing the non-vaccinated people to come into your restaurants? So they are obviously, worried about it. They are worried. People have to take precaution. So customers will look at all those aspects as well. I know customers who call and make sure where they are seated in your restaurant. Probably they come before and make sure, okay, this is my table. Make sure there's a reserved board next to that table that nobody sits there. So customers are a bit finicky. Obviously, they're all worried, but life will go on. Things are going to change. Like I said, there will be a surge in business. Don't forget, we're all human. We can't be locked up every day in a house. We need to go out as well, So there you'll have that customer going out and, like I said, looking for spaces where you're not cooped up in one room for that matter. Sit out in open spaces, have a coffee, and enjoy the cafe and restaurant culture in the country.
We've heard of a number of restaurants having to shut down as a result of months and months of no business. Have there been reports of such thing in Colombo as well?
Not that I know of, but I know there are more people opening restaurants. There are more venues opening up. More shopping malls are coming up. So within the next year, I would say there'll be more venues being given out to restaurateurs and that nature. So yes, there are a few people, I guess, out of Colombo who have shut down. But I don't, not to my knowledge in Colombo, but yes, it's tough. It's been tough. So everybody is having a hard time. But there will be people opening restaurants for sure.
How long do you think it will take for the industry as a whole to recover from this situation? More than 2 years or 2 years of COVID. Do you think the industry can actually recover even if everything returns to? It's not obviously not going to return to normal, but adjusting and while operating under a new normal, can the industry recover?
It will take a long time for the industry to recover. If you are talking before COVID, pre-COVID, it will take a long time because obviously, you're not going to get the same numbers from a hospitality point of view, from a tourism point of view. The numbers will start coming in, but you will not be peaking of what you did before 2019 or 2020 for that matter. Like I said before, I think 23, 24, we'll have the tourists coming in. By that time, a lot of things would have changed, so it's going to take a long time for the recovery period. Don't forget, lots of the people in the hospitality industry have taken big loans. They have to pay their interest off. The government has given a moratorium till next year, June. I sincerely hope that they push that till next year, December, because that's the time people will start making bookings into hotels. So that's the winter season as well. So, those are the positives which I would say people will start making reservations for their travel, and it will take a long time. It's going to take a long time to get back to where we were. But saying that, we have all learned a lot with this. So, we have managed in inventories have been managing. We learned how to manage inventories. We learned how to manage staffing. If the government says you can allow 25% or 50% to come in from Friday, we cannot bring all our staff in. You have to bring them in 15 days in, 15 days out. So by doing all that, the industry will take time to pick up. And I would say another year in the restaurant industry. Yes, it'll take approximately another year.
And with the Christmas season coming up, you spoke earlier about the fact that last Christmas, most operations were curtailed or shut. if you can't do that this time around as well, how much, I mean, would that hurt you a lot?
Oh yeah, for sure. Everybody depends on the season. Everybody depends on the November, December, January into February. People depend on that season. Especially when there are tourists in the country as well. That's out the 12 months. You would look at 3 months of the year: November, December, January, February. Then you get that summer season. Where the Sri Lankan expats come back to the country, or the students studying overseas. They come back home. To see their parents. So we will have probably July, August, September. That's another 3 months there. So out of the 12 months, you have a good 6-8 months of tourists and people enjoying the season and the summer vacations and all that. I sincerely hope that we will have a good season this year, and that we see a few tourists coming in, and that the venues which attract tourists will be able to operate and at least have a few of them, visiting certain venues. See?
Right, Harpo. We're almost at time, so we'll have to leave it at that. Thank you for joining us and for your input, and all the best in everything.
Thank you, Easwaran. Let's stay positive, and let's see what happens in the next 24 hours. Thank you very much.
So to our viewers, thank you for joining us, and do join us for our next episode of On Fire on Daily Mirror. Till then, stay safe.